Hey, everybody. We are back. Earlier when I was trying to get all the information on Josh Duggar's arrest, I saw the article about Ronnie Magro, who, if you don't know, he was arrested last week. And when he was arrested, it was a little confusing because nobody knew. We knew what the charges were, but we did not know who he allegedly got violent with. And now it is coming out that it was his girlfriend, Saffire, who made the 911 call. You guys can probably hear me. I have my video playing, and the speakers are right there. Okay, so he was arrested last week for domestic violence, and at that time, Saffire had made a post on her Instagram, which, by the way, now is completely locked up. I went to check that to see if she was saying anything, and she has her Instagram set on private now. But at the time of Ronnie's arrest, when news broke of that, she posted, "Ronnie and I are fine. There is a lot of misleading information floating around out there. With anybody who has reached out with concern, I appreciate it with all my heart, but everything that's being portrayed out there are not facts. I don't think it's fair that people are using false accusations to gain attention. Please leave Ron and I alone. You don't know what someone is going through at the end of the day. Don't believe everything you hear or read online. I'd appreciate privacy, please. Thank you all for your support." So after reading that, I was like, wait, so was it her? Because it doesn't seem like it's her. I even thought, well, maybe there was something that happened between her. He got arrested and then she was feeling bad. So now she was like posting this to kind of throw everybody off. Like, no, it wasn't me. Everything's fine between us. But it seems like it wasn't. Law enforcement told TMZ that Saffire called the police that night after she and Ron got into an argument that allegedly turned physical. After officers arrived and spoke to both parties, it was determined that Ron was the aggressor. Saffire reportedly had visible marks on her body when the police showed up, responding to her call for help. However, according to TMZ, there was one of multiple observations that landed Ronnie in jail. Days after Ronnie's arrest, Saffire, whom Ronnie introduced as his new lady back in October, took to social media, downplaying whatever happened between the two, claiming that there was a lot of misinformation floating around and insisting that she and Ronnie were okay. Yeah, that really threw me off. Ronnie's attorney, Scott Lehman, said in a statement that the incident that had happened was still being investigated and that he had not received any of the police reports at the time. He said, Therefore, we will continue not to comment while our investigation is still ongoing. As we have all learned in the past, initial reports can be and are often incorrect. Yes, we all have to remember that. Like when things are first reported, there's a lot of error usually that comes out there. You know, a lot of people wanting to speculate too much, and they may say some things that are not completely accurate by speculating. So his attorneys were not going to put any public statement out there, other than they were not going to put a public statement out there because they are investigating what was going on. So while the recent domestic violence allegations against Ronnie are being looked at, he has a history of this kind of behavior, unfortunately. He is currently on probation for the 2019 domestic violence incident that involved his baby mama, Jen Harley. I don't know if you guys remember that situation, but she was caught on a camera, like a home security camera, like running from Ron. She had the baby. She even like ran behind a car and contemplated climbing over a fence. Allegedly, Ronnie had followed her outside down the road with a knife. He was arrested. He's on probation for that. It says a judge may consider Ronnie's recent arrest a violation of his probation, and the incident could also hinder his time with Ariana, as he and Jen currently share custody of the child, and she was in his care when this incident happened. Ariana was with Ronnie, and when he was arrested, she was actually, Jen was called, of course, and Jen could not get there because they live hours away from each other. So Ronnie's brother got Ariana and kept Ariana until Jen arrived, and then Jen drove her home. It says Ronnie recently spoke out about his arrest. He did. I'm going to read his comment. He said, "I'm grateful for all my real friends. Thank you for being by my side the last few weeks. I take all experiences as lessons. You learn who really cares about you when you're down and out, and then you see who doesn't. But I guess that's why they call it the weeding process. Thank you to my real friends who haven't left my side and haven't betrayed me. Hashtag because of you guys, I feel blessed. Hashtag thank you for stopping me from drowning and not being the one who held my head underwater." So that was his statement the day after I think he got arrested. He also took time out of his day to call Jen out on her alleged cocaine abuse, but he quickly deleted his Instagram story post about Jen. So that was only out there for a little bit. I did not get to see that. Just saw where people were reporting that he did do that. Now, I think he barely made a year on his probation. He also had to do some community service. That I'm not aware if he's completed the community service, but he has not completed his probation. So, on probation for domestic violence, it happens again. I definitely think he could be looking at some jail time unless he got a really good attorney. You know, I said this in my video that I covered about his arrest. You know, when we watch him on Jersey Shore, now it appears that he is doing better. But I think at some point we just have to, like, be honest, because when I watch him on the show, I like him. I'm like, all right, I like him. He's trying to do better. He's going to rehab. He talks about his daughter a lot. When we see him with his daughter, he appears to be a decent dad, a good dad. But I think sometimes we just have to call it like it is, and he has problems with being abusive, it appears. It appears like he has an anger issue. You know, we don't, like you, yeah, you're exactly right, Brew Bear. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And I will say this, when we saw him and Jen together, I think they were both aggressors. Just to be honest, just to be 1,000% honest, I think Jen was aggressive as well because we seen her get in his face. Did that call for him to be aggressive with her? Absolutely not. But, you know, I think I was really hoping with this new relationship with Saffire that we would see a side of Ronnie where he stayed out of trouble, where he was doing well, where he was being a dad, but now I'm concerned. Jen actually did put out a statement. Well, not a statement. She posted on her Instagram after the arrest. I'm going to tell you guys what she said. After it was announced that Ronnie was arrested, Jen actually posted on her Instagram, "PSA, who needs to hear this? As you can see, even to this day, the abuse never ends. This is your chance. Get out now. Run. Do not let someone make you feel like it is your fault for their actions. I promise you it will only get worse." So, while she did not name anyone in that post, it was very obvious who she was talking to or about, because this was the day that we all found out. It was the day that it went public that Ron was arrested. And it was domestic violence charges, so everybody was wondering, who was it? Who what happened, you know? Who did he get physical with? And Jen, I was confused by all of it because Saffire was like, "We're good. Don't believe everything that you read." And then Jen was like, "Get out while you can." So I don't know. I was confused. But Saffire did make the 911 call. She called the cops asking for help because it was an argument that turned physical. And she did have physical marks on her when the police arrived. And that's why Ronnie was arrested. So, I'm going to hang out with you guys for just a little bit. That's all the information that I know right now. There's not a court date for Ronnie. I'm sure when that information comes out, the Ashley will post it and I will hop on here and let you guys know. Let me see what this is. Oh, I already read this one. Yeah. So, yeah. I'm going to hang out with you guys just a little bit in the chat, but I know it's kind of getting late. It's almost 11. I just wanted to, when I saw that earlier, because I was so confused on what happened with Ronnie when his arrest came out, and then that was posted, I was like, I really need to get on there and talk about this and put this out there. But yeah, that's what it was. Saffire called the cops on him. There was a child present. Ariana was there. So he could even be potentially, he has not been charged as of yet with anything concerning the child being there, but he could, you know, if the judge really wanted to throw the book at him when he goes before the judge. He's on probation for domestic charges already. So when he goes before the judge, if the judge reads the report and sees that Ariana was there, he could potentially be charged with something like endangering a minor, or I mean, I don't even know what all you could when a child's there. But yes, his child was there, and she is 3 years old. And after this happened, Jen actually posted some Instagram pictures of a little baby cub, and it said baby, and then it was like a mama, and it's like mama. And then she posted a picture of her holding her daughter, and it said, she needs me to comfort her right now. So even though we need to get back on the road, headed home, I will hold her as long as I need to, just like this, basically. So, and Ariana looked sad. I do have to say that. Ariana looked really sad when her mom was holding her. When she got the call to go get Ariana, she also posted a picture of that on her Instagram picture. She posted a picture of her driving, and she said, this is the last time I'll ever make this trip. So, I definitely think that Jen is going to push for Ron to either not have visitation rights. I don't know if she can actually do that, or she may push for supervised visitations. And I can't blame her. I cannot blame her for that. If this was my child, I would absolutely go, like, do whatever I could to say, this is what's happening when my child is there. He's being arrested on domestic violence charges. His girlfriend is calling the cops. The cops are showing up. She's physically harmed, and my child is there to witness her dad do this. So this can't happen, you know. And then this could very well affect his visitations with his daughter. So I'm going to see what you guys are saying in the chat. Absolutely, Carly. I would make the trip as many times as I needed to, but I would do everything that I could to keep it from her going to over there if possible. You know, Ryan went to like rehab a while back, and it seemed like he was doing better. But you know, we saw him on Jersey Shore with Sam. You know, we saw him throw her bed out the door, off the balcony, and throw all her stuff. He broke all of her stuff. He broke her glasses. We got to witness all of that. And you know, sometimes you're like, wait, is it just that their relationship is toxic? You know, that she drives him crazy. But then he gets with Jen, and it may be worse, because he's chasing Jen down the street with allegedly what reports said was a knife. You know, he had to be tased that time. From, if memory serves me correctly, I think he had to be tased. And now they've been dating since October, I think it said. So, and now we're already getting reports of him being violent with her. So that's super unfortunate. I hope she knows that she don't have to put up with this, and she gets out. The fact that she immediately spoke out and said, this is not what it seems to be. Either she is covering for him because she has no plans to leave, which is what I think is probably what's going on here, or this very slim chance that maybe we don't have all the information. You know, I don't know. But I definitely feel like Ron is dangerous. He can be dangerous, and he needs to get some type of help, because he does have a child, you know, and if he wants to continue to see that baby, he needs to do better. Why doesn't he take his CBD from his own company? He needs it. Nah, for real. He's the type of man that is abusive. Unfortunately, we always hope they get help to heal. Absolutely. Absolutely. Scars from childhood affect most for a lifetime. Absolutely. Hazel Eye says, you know, she's covering for him. Yeah. You know, I always try to like give people the benefit of the doubt, but sometimes I'm wondering if I'm sounding like an idiot, you know, because I'm like, come on. Come on. What is it called when people are on steroids and it causes them to rage? Roid rage? Is that a word? Can someone help me out with that? But I don't know if Ron's on steroids, and I'm not saying that he is. But there are men, if they're on steroids, it leads them to be go into a rage sometimes. Is it called roid rage? Roid rage. Okay. I missed some of this. This is the second time that this has happened, or is this the same incident when Jen was comforting their daughter? It's the same incident, Jane. This is from last week, but last week they did not tell us what happened. Like, who did the incident involve? And it did involve his girlfriend, Saffire. She's the one that made the 911 call, asking for help because they got into an argument that turned physical. When the police arrived, they talked to Ronnie and Saffire. Saffire had visible marks on her from a altercation, so they figured out that Ron was the aggressor and that he had gotten physical with her, and the police arrested Ron. He is on probation for domestic violence already. He's been on probation for almost a year, or maybe right at a year, but his probation was for 36 months, so he is not off yet. When he goes before a judge, the judge could potentially throw him in jail, and this also, from my understanding, happened in the presence of his daughter. I'm not saying she was in the room, but she was at his home when this incident occurred, from what is being said, because they did contact Jen, and Jen had to drive to go get her. So, I used to cover for my ex so many times. It was always I fail. Kenny, that hurts my heart so bad because you are such a good person. I couldn't imagine anyone like want to get physical with you. Definitely third chick he's been in a toxic relationship with. Absolutely. Pain meds can make a person irritable or short-tempered. I didn't know that. When they get on the roids, they're... Oh, Hazel. That's hilarious. That's so funny that you say that. I've heard that before. I've heard that. So now, why would anybody want to do that? Not only do you experience roid rage, but then you got to twinkle, twinkle, little. You know, like then you got to worry about your. Candy, did any of your family member even question it? Like, did anybody in your family suspect it? Now we're just kind of chit-chatting. I've given all the information that is out there. But, you know, Saffire tried to cover, say, don't believe everything that you hear or you read. And then Jen, she commented, you know, she done like a PSA on her Instagram, you know, saying like, get out now, run while you can. And then Ron, he said like he's thankful for everybody that still has his back and that he's learned who his real friends are. Saffire has locked her Instagram down. It is private. It was not private the other day when all this happened because I actually went to it and I actually got some pictures off her Instagram. So this, her locking it up is recent, since like just a few days ago. Every relationship has had issues. Yes, every one of his relationships had yeah. My mom called the cops many times, but I was stupid and didn't press charges. You would think that after a while they might would. I know in Louisiana will pick up charges. Like in Louisiana, if a woman calls the cops on her husband and says, my husband beat me up, they will come out there. And even if when they get out there, even if the woman says, never mind, I don't want to press charges, the state will pick it up. And the state will press charges anyways. I had to go to court one time for child support with Paris and Caden's dad. Actually, no. It was a restraining order. We get along fine now, but there was a little problem that we had, you know, through the years. But there was a restraining order. I went to court for that, and there was a husband and wife there. There was a restraining order that was put in place, that the judge put in place. They lived together. This was husband and wife. They drove there together. and they were there for the restraining order. They were going to ask that it be lifted, but the restraining order was placed like a couple months prior because they had gotten a fight. They lived in a trailer park, and the neighbor called the cops and said, hey, my neighbors are getting in a fight, and the husband is whipping up on the woman. They're outside. I'm witnessing it. Y'all need to get over here. So the cops came. The man was arrested. When he went before the judge, like the next day, the judge said, you are not allowed to go around her, and issued a restraining order and was like, don't go home. Don't go around your wife. You can't. But he did. He got out of jail and he went right home. And then when he had to go again to court for the restraining order, they drove there together. And I remember we were sitting out in the hall, and they were sitting beside each other. And like the bailiff come out there and said, how did you get here? Asked the guy, how did you get here? And he said, I drove. And he said, who did you drive with? And he said, what do you mean? And he turned to the wife and he said, how did you get here? And she said, I rode with him. And he said, you understand there's a restraining order. Y'all are not supposed to be together. And she said, yes, I understand, but we're married. And he said, I don't care. And when we all had to go in there in front of the judge got onto them and locked that man up. He went right back to jail that day. He went right back to jail that day for violating the restraining order. That they were actually going to ask that it be, that he get rid of it, because they were husband and wife. They lived together, you know. So a judge can issue a restraining order, and they can throw you in jail without you even pressing charges here. Yes, Candy now has a wonderful husband. Ron paid her thousands to give that statement. Oh, maybe so. Mommy Motivation, you may be onto something. Candy's such a wonderful person, you guys. Like, seriously, my moderators are so awesome. And Candy has been one of my closest friends since becoming my moderator. At times, Ronnie's parents visited the Jersey Shore. It seemed like his mom was more rough around the edges and rude to Sammy. I wonder if she his mom's an alcoholic. You guys remember that? Do you guys remember on the show where Ron's mom called and like Vinny picked up the phone and Vinny was like, she's drunk. And then he called Mike and was like, hey, Ron's mom wants to talk. And he's like, hey. And, you know, they all figured out that Ron's mom was drunk, and then Ron was like talking about it. He's like, my mom has a problem with alcohol, you know. So I don't know if she's any better, but Ron's mom at the time of all that, she would call the Shore House inebriated, and Ron did disclose that information. Oh, Candy. Yeah, I would think that it makes sense. You know, I think he was closer with his dad because of it. He even talked about how, you know, he struggled with his mom being, an alcoholic, and he was closer to his dad. But now, you know, he's kind of fell into this addiction himself. Hopefully Ron can get his act together and break the cycle. You know what I wish he would think about is his daughter. I wish guys like that, if they have daughters, I wish there would be something in them that in the moment of anger, when they're being mean to their girlfriend or their wife or whatever, they would think like, what if a man treated my daughter this way? If I wouldn't want my daughter treated this way, then I'm not going to treat my girlfriend or my spouse this way, you know? I didn't file my taxes for 3 years because I was afraid he would find me, and I had been able to work. And when I remarried many years later, I changed my last name and had, oh, wow. That's scary that you had to do that. Sealed with the court. Wow, that's crazy. I'm so sorry. It makes my heart so sad when people go back into unsafe situations. I'm sure it is so tough to leave, but it makes me so sad to see it. Absolutely. I think with the way that Ronnie is, because Ronnie's extreme, at chasing someone down the street with a knife, allegedly, throwing beds out of the, off the balcony, that's extreme. I don't think anybody can deal with that for more than a couple years. 2-3 years max. I think it's going to drive someone insane, and they're gonna want to get out. So I'll keep you guys updated though. If I hear any more information, I'll hop on here and I'll let you guys know, and I'll either do a live or do a video. I will be live tomorrow as soon as information comes out about Josh and his arrest and why he was arrested. He should go to court tomorrow at 11, Josh Duggar, and I'll give you guys that information. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off. I hear my hubby in the kitchen, and I'm tired, so tired. So I'm gonna get off. Thank you to everyone that come back to catch this live with me. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Also, yes, lovely_me. I'm actually surprised that MTV has kept him as well with everything that has went on, because we know they are quick to fire some people over some things, but not other people over everything. Also, I saw on Instagram that there is a petition to have Amber Portwood removed from Teen Mom. So yeah, anybody that's interested in signing the petition, and I'm not advocating for anybody to lose their job or anything like that, you know, but it is out there. There's a petition to have Amber Portwood fired from Teen Mom after her behavior the past few years. So it is on Instagram. I'll try to find that. If anybody's interested in it, I'll try to find it. I'm not telling you guys to sign it. I'm just saying that it's out there. You know, it's not going to happen. I don't think they will, because Amber's a moneymaker for them. But, you know, it's out there if anybody wants to sign it. I'm not saying that you should, but I will try to go find the link and put it in the description box of this video, just in case you're interested. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. See you guys tomorrow. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. And until tomorrow, bye everyone.